The Need for Speed Unbound Volume 3 update increased the payouts on various events and different things to do in the game by a lot. This video will show you all the best ways to make money in Need for Speed Unbound after the Volume 3 update. Let's go! Alright, there are 4 different methods that I'm going to talk about in this video, but keep in mind you can always just race. Now you're not going to make as much money as you would with these methods. These are actually better and faster to make money than just racing, which is a little bit weird. I think the race payouts could use a little bit of an increase, but I digress. Let's get into the first method. This is the least profitable method of the 4 I'm going to talk about today, and it is just racing. However, it's a boring style of racing. It's the Old Town Road strategy. Now, this is a strategy I talked about when Volume 2 came out, when they increased the payouts originally, but you can actually do it faster now after Volume 3 because of your ability to teleport. So basically, you go to Old Town Road. It's the quickest single race playlist in the entire game. It only takes about 4 minutes to complete the race. If you're really bad, it'll be 4 minutes and 30 seconds, but if you're really good, you can do it under 4 minutes. That being said, you can repeat this a bunch of times in an hour, and you can get about $273,000 per hour, and that's if you have a full lobby. Now, obviously, you're not going to have a full lobby all the time, and you're probably going to be doing this either with 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 people. So you're going to get significantly less per hour than 273. But 273 is the max you can get, and that's why it landed on the 4th spot on this list. Moving on to the 3rd best way to make money after Volume 3 update, and that is drift playlists. Drift playlists are basically race playlists. There's 3 drift events in a playlist, and you can make about 320,000 per hour. They take around 8 minutes each, and you can make up to about 45,000 max. I anticipate a lot of people playing drift playlists after the update, so this is something you can definitely do if you enjoy drifting. You can make about 45,000 per drift event. But that being said, you have to get first place in order for that to be true. So it is a little bit RNG, a little bit skill, and it's honestly not the most amount of money you can make. Keep in mind that you will also make XP for doing these drift playlists. You can make about 3,200 on a minimum and about 5,000 on the maximum for each playlist. And since your speed pass levels are only 10,000, that means 2 playlists will get you a full speed pass level. And the same can be said for the Old Town Road strat that I just talked about. They have the same XP payouts. Let's move on to one that was very interesting after Volume 2, but got even more interesting now that Volume 3 is out, and that is cop chases. So these chases became super irrelevant right away after the update came out because it's kind of boring and you really have to be super efficient in order to make decent money, and it just wasn't worth your time. Now it is worth your time because you can do it on heat 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and still make really good money. Now, there is a couple of things you need to know with this method. If you're solo, you make less than if you do it with a friend, and that's because you can trade off your heat levels by helping and escaping each person at a time. Basically, one person keeps the heat 5 alive while the other person escapes and then comes back to join it, which gives them heat 5, and then the other person goes to escape, and you just keep swapping back and forth like that so that you can just jump into a heat 5 instantaneously and you don't have to wait for your heat to build up. Doing it that way, you can make almost 600,000 per hour. It's an insane way to make money, and it does take a little bit of coordination with a friend, but it is possible. Now, the reason you can make 600,000 per hour is because they actually increased the payouts for each level of escape that you do. A heat 1 escape is $2,000, a heat 2 escape is $4,000, a heat 3 escape is $10,000, heat 4 is $15,000, and heat 5 is $20,000. Now you can get to heat 5 in a matter of about 4 minutes using the Getaway Driver Auxiliary perk. That makes your heat rise really fast. Then have your damage increase so you can crash cops and take them down, and then make sure you have a good escape route and you can do this all day long. Like I said, 600,000 an hour with a friend, 400,000 in solo. They also increase the payouts for takedowns. Your charger cops, which are the first ones you encounter, are $100. Corvette cops are $250. SUV units are $250. Undercover units are $300, and the best one is the Raptor heavies that are $1,500 to take those down. If you can manage to take one of those down on your way to escaping, you'll add a little bit of bank there for your trouble. Now, this method is, like I said, a little bit boring, but let me give you an example of how fast you can escape something. This is my recommended method if you're solo, and this is how you get the 400,000. You get yourself to heat 3 and you escape immediately. It takes less than a minute to get to heat 3 if you have the getaway driver auxiliary, and you can escape within that minute. The background gameplay, what you're watching, I escaped in 55 seconds. I got to heat 3 from no heat and then escaped in 55 seconds. Then you just drive out of the garage or the meetup location that you're in, and you go find another cop and do it again. You can cycle this every minute and get $10,000 per minute. That is an insane amount of dollars. Now, if you calculate that 10,000 per minute and multiply by 60, that's 600,000, but it's actually not really that possible because you have to come out of wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, to escape, and you have to find another cop, and there's a lot of time that happens there. So when I was recording this, it was around 400,000 per hour solo. Again, still a lot of money, and I'm talking too much about this method, but anyway, cop chases, very, very viable. And lastly, and the best method for earning money after the Volume 3 update is the Linkups. These new events are very, very lucrative. You can make, again, up to 600,000 per hour, but this is a lot more fun than just simply running away from cops and rinse and repeating that whole cycle. So Linkups take about 10 to 15 minutes. 10 minutes if you're fast, 15 minutes if you're moderately slow, and if you're really bad at it, you probably just fail it around the 20-minute mark. But most of the time that we did this, we were able to complete it in around 10 minutes. That is $125,000 for each time if you don't get busted. Remember, when you leave a link up, you have to escape the cops in order to keep your money. So do the link up in about 10 minutes, then escape. That takes a couple of minutes. Once you're escaped, you need to immediately fast travel down to this meetup and start Old Town Road. The reason you do this is because there is a little bit of a gap of time between when the link up ends and when the next link up is available. So you need to be earning money during that time. Now, you could just go to cop chases, run a couple of heat 3 chases, and then go over to the link up when it's ready. But I think Old Town Road is a little bit more fun to do. So here is your loop. You do a link up, you go to Old Town Road, then you do a link up, then you go to Old Town Road. You can do that about 4 times per hour, which should get you right around the 600,000 per hour mark. Now, one thing to note with this link up Old Town Road method, you need to escape the cops fairly quickly because the amount of time between link ups is the same whether you are running from the cops or not. So if it takes you a long time to run from the cops and then you enter Old Town Road, you're not going to have enough time to finish Old Town Road and make it to the link up in time. Now, that could change if there are other players on the server who start the link up. Now, they could start it, you would leave Old Town Road, then just immediately join the link up, but you might join in on round 2 or round 3 and thus making less money on your cycle. So you have to be pretty quick with running from the cops. All right, that's about it for the best ways to make money. Again, you can always just go back and race, but that's boring and it didn't feel like it was worthy of making the video. Also, you can't make as much money as these other methods. So once again, just to recap, Old Town Road strategy, 273 per hour, drift playlists around 320 per hour, cop chases, you can make 400 solo or 600,000 with a friend. And then finally, link ups, you can do this solo or with a friend, 600,000 per hour. All right, guys, hopefully this helped you out. Let me know if you have any questions about these methods. Send me a DM if you have to. Shout out to all the Heat 5 members of the channel. I'll catch you on the next one. Trigger out.